Hi, DW.
I was just about to say good afternoon. It's not.
It's
21 minutes away from the afternoon.
Give it a little bit of time.
Hello.
So, topic of discussion for today.
Go on then.
Clients, our favourite.
Yep.
But what to do when they go quiet?
Right, yeah.
We don't get this that often at Flaunt, but I've definitely seen this other places where a client, they might be thinking of maybe leaving you as an agency, and they kind of just gradually reduce all comms.
Let it fizzle out.
Like a bad
As
relationship.
though you're going to forget them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We had that client.
Yeah, that was a thing. And it does happen.
Yeah.
And it happens in like there's a few different ways it happens. So there's that example where they might be thinking of leaving and they don't want to face actually making that decision.
Yeah.
They're the same people that ghost people in relationships, I think.
I was just about to say, me, with the role that I do, I'm just thinking of ghosting it.
You do get ghosted a lot.
Being ghosted all the time. Yeah.
The other angle is those clients where they're just super quiet. They give like no direction. But then when you present what's been done, they then question it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, why didn't you do it like
Pick
this?
it apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, we asked you all those questions.
Yeah.
You know, you had every opportunity. So I think it's thinking about it from a couple of angles, really. So the agency side, like, how do you keep them engaged? Like, what's the really important steps? Because not everything always works.
No, not everything always works. And usually, even though we're not furnished with the information, usually there's a reason.
There is,
And it obviously, the task at hand is getting to the bottom of that reason, hearing that reason, and then trying to do something about that reason. But you're not always afforded to be, because it sort of goes with the territory. If they've gone quiet, how are you going to find out the reason? Now, I've done things before where I've pieced things together.
We like to be detectives, yes.
Piece things together. We've just done a previous podcast episode about like how much information is out there now. There's ways to piece things together, and sometimes I've been right about you know why something might have gone quiet, or you know they've chosen in sales world, in new business world, it might be that we've been ghosted, and I think right, they're all over this agencies like LinkedIn and stuff like that. They're probably going with them or something, and then you find out that they've gone with them. So there's that. But obviously, ultimately, what you want to do, especially if it's a paying client, is you want to get that relationship back on track as quickly as possible, but also like not just as quickly as possible, but effective, because there's already signs there that something's not right. So if you just hastily try and get back in touch and just crack on, I think that's the wrong thing to do.
But sometimes there is the reason that they've gone quiet could just be they're really busy.
Yeah.
And they just kind of want you to take care of it.
Well, we know that client-side contacts that we have are busy. We know that
busy.
they are.
And a lot of the time, that's why they're engaging an agency.
Exactly, yeah. So I think going quiet, like, don't immediately expect the worst.
Agree with
Don't
that,
immediately expect the worst. I'm not saying don't be so deluded that you bury your head in the sand and think everything's hunky-dory. When it's probably not. But I think, I bet we keep coming back to this word, but communication, like from the outset, and expectations from the outset is so important to try to avoid this. Now, not everything in life is avoidable by saying communicate better and thoroughly and set expectations better and thoroughly at the beginning. Like, they're just things that, you know, will help, but they don't guarantee that someone won't go quiet on you.
No, they don't. But also, like, that communication, like, you might, as an agency, have a process in place, like, this is how we communicate with clients. But that might not be the best route for that client.
No.
Like, we've had it before where we've said, you know, people have said, oh, I've emailed them. Right, have you rung them? No. And I know everybody is terrified of picking up the phone, which I struggle with because it's often my first port of
Always
call.
deal over the phone.
But a lot of people, they're not expected to pick up a phone that often, and it can feel a little bit intimidating.
Yeah.
But sometimes for clients, like, that's the easiest thing. If you just want a quick answer, and you've asked them it in 20-second phone call.
Yeah.
Whereas an email, they've got to sit and feel like they have to type professionally and be like, "Hello, how are you? How was your weekend?" "Great, mine was lovely, thank you."
Just wondering. Yeah.
And it's just one tiny little question. Like, you could have done all that in a 20-second call sometimes.
And also, you might, hopefully they answer the phone. That would be another sign. If you've like tried them a load of times and they're clearly, the phone switched on and that you're not getting anywhere, that might be a different thing. But also, if you manage to get them on the phone, you might hear a tone of voice that you might be like, okay.
Yeah, you can read it.
Yeah. So that's also important. And to remember that we're talking about people here. So our clients are all walks of life. Rightly so. That's what makes it great. So therefore, like you've just said there, if you're scared to pick up the phone, you might be trying to call someone who also will be scared to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
But then the next client will only pick up the phone and not come back to you on email. So
you've got to have tested everything.
Exactly.
I think if you're in a situation where you're feeling like, the communication isn't where you want it to be, you've got to test other methods. You can't just keep repeating the same thing.
Definitely.
And it might just be that client might just not be very good at communicating.
Yeah.
And lots of people aren't like, you'll know it like day to day. Like, I've got friends, I'm normally this friend, that just doesn't reply to anything.
Yeah.
And then just completely forgets. And then a week later, I just go and reply to everything.
Yeah.
I'm that person.
Yeah, do it in batches.
Yeah. Because sometimes it's all just too much to do it at once. And for all you know, that client might be that person.
Yeah. Think about timings of the day.
Yeah.
They might be way too busy from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. But you might get them right at the start of the day doing what you've just said there. They might get through a load of, in a batch of stuff, and you might be one of them.
And then they might silence it after that. Like, I quite often have my notifications all silenced because...
distraction and...
Too many distractions, and then I'll just check in every couple of hours and be like, okay, need to reply to all these people on Slack, need to reply to these emails.
Yeah, be more structured.
Yeah. And, they might be doing the same thing, and
Definitely.
you don't know what their routine is. And also, just because we're all in a professional environment, it's not the same as it was 20 years ago, where it was everything was just done through very professional emails and
chained to your desk with the phone and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just
we know not everybody works the same anymore.
Yeah.
We know everybody's brain is different, and it's acceptable to do things a little bit more as you need them.
What do you think about trying to get in front of this potential situation with a brand new client? We've mentioned a few different forms of contact there, be it email, phone. What about the Slacks of the world and Microsoft Teams for a chat type situation? Do you think, as an agency and a client, whoever really, a new working relationship with someone, a company externally, do you think from the outset that you should try to cover all bases in terms of how they like to think they will be receptive to communication?
100%.
So do you think you should be asking them do you use Slack or Microsoft Teams, for example?
Yeah.
Can we get you on there just to...
That's it. Because, you want to try and make their... As an agency, we're slotting into somebody else's business. We're slotting into their team. And you want to try and make that as seamless as possible. So if they're chatting to the rest of their team on, say, Microsoft Teams, which we love.
Not.
We're a Slack place. If they're chatting on Microsoft Teams amongst the wider marketing team, talking to, higher ups, that's where they get things signed off, that's where the discussions happen, that's where feedback happens internally. Then they're having to take all that from various chats, put it into, say, an email that they have to send along to us. You're creating an extra step.
Yeah.
So if they communicate in Microsoft Teams, and if they're willing, or if this fits into their workflows, why couldn't we be in that same system.
Yeah.
And whether we're in, say, like the marketing chat that they have, or a separate one that's set up in order for everybody to feed back their amends, etc. Obviously, there is a little bit of like, generally we would say, could you collate all your amends and send them back as one?
Yeah.
Which can make things a little bit harder from us, but also being part of those conversations, and sometimes you get the context as to why people are asking for things, really does help. So I think there's a balance between like wanting to be in there and overly helpful to the client that actually can make it less efficient on the other side.
Yeah.
Because there's always often somebody that's in that head of position or manager position that makes that final decision and says, right, well, these people have fed back all these men, but actually I only want to action these ones.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily the ideal route, but it's certainly a consideration if that would work best for that client.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I agree.
And I think same, like, there's even teams that communicate through like WhatsApp.
Yeah. Well, businesses now, WhatsApp for business is
huge.
Massive.
Absolutely huge.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, it's almost like a bit of a practice what you preach. We speak to our clients, educate our clients, and work with our clients to be across as many touch points for their potential customers as possible. So why would you not take those learnings and translate them into your own, working partnerships or whatever you want to call them?
Going in and say, like, we just operate this model. We have, a weekly, a bi-weekly or a monthly catch-up. Then we'll send you an email once a week and we'll do this. Well, great. That sounds great. But that's not also how business works.
And do you know what? I'm really glad you brought that up, because the amount of times in our conversations with prospects and they get to that point, it's like, how do you work? And then you say, what do you mean by that? Because people mean different things by that. And they'll and a bulk of them will go down the route of like, how regularly will we hear from you? What's the communication like, cadence and stuff? And the amount of people who, when we say it looks different for every different client, because
not a one size fits all.
It's not off the shelf. Like, we're not going to just tell you, because if we're banging this drum of like, we don't just want to be seen as like providing a service, and it's actually a hell of a lot more than that, which it is, then it's completely at loggerheads to then be like, well, we're not just, we want to be embedded partners with you, but yet you'll only hear from us.
We're only going to talk to you on a Friday.
Exactly, yeah. And we have to structure all of it. Like,
and you're also then at that point, like, I've seen it from, not at Floor, but I've seen it other places where you're like, oh, well, we'll ask them out on Friday when we're in our catch-up. And it's like, just ask them now.
Speak.
You're stalling something by 3 days.
Yeah.
And there's this a bit of a perception sometimes that people think that asking the questions are like, oh, I don't want to bother them. It's like, you're not bothering them. You're asking a question that's going to help them.
Yeah.
That's going to help their business and help their brand. How on earth would that be bothering them?
And at that very time you're biting your tongue and not doing it, someone external at another agency is asking them that question.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh.
Yeah. Or someone internal is pointing out that the agency hasn't asked that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of this, which, as I said a bit ago, it stems around and centres around communication, doesn't it? But what you mentioned at the start, another sort of scenario in this going quiet sort of situation, where you might not be getting the answers of what you need, but then you come round to sort of reporting or showing results, and then you're met with scrutiny and questions and blah, blah, blah.
Why didn't you do this? This is what we wanted.
How do you feel if I said to you in that situation that the agency should never get to that point? And what I mean by that is, at the point at which they are just fighting with silence, should they just stop? Down tools?
Yes. Yes, 100%. I've been told different stuff in the past.
So have I.
Different workplaces where it would be,
no.
I think I said this to you earlier, just crack on, we need to invoice it.
Yeah, the pain.
Yeah, crack on, we need, if we get that piece of work in front of them, we can send them a bill. What?
It's just going to backfire.
Yeah, they might have asked for something, they might have signed off a quote, but if it still requires input from their side to get it to that final product, you've not delivered what you're going to invoice for at that point.
No.
And if you're not getting what you need from them, 100%, just pause it.
Do you think some agencies would be too scared in that situation as well? Not
Yeah.
just an arrogance and a like, oh, we'll get.
Yeah.
Do you think there'd be a fear?
Yeah.
Like, shit, you can't just stop working and sort of not play hardball, but like, yeah, just
100%.
absolutely stop.
Agencies are people pleasers.
Petrified
yeah.
of losing,
Yeah.
obviously losing income. Most businesses would come from a similar mindset, or a lot of businesses, but agencies, I think, where I've been before, is unique.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to relate it back to like an everyday situation. So if you had that mate that you text all the time, but because I do reply eventually, people know that, but just never, ever, ever replied. Right. So you had this WhatsApp chain with them and it's just all you and, you know, do you want to go out for a drink? How you doing, mate? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
You get to a point where you stop sending those messages,
Yeah,
you
you do.
stop inviting them out for a drink.
Yeah.
But we don't seem to do that.
Yeah.
You know, we seem to people please as long as possible in agency world.
Yeah.
And great, they're a client, they're paying or whatever. But if you've asked them, you know, 10 times or something, you wouldn't ask your mate and be like, how are you doing, mate? Yep. Do you want to go out for a drink? Not hear anything. Be like, I'll go anyway just in case they turn up.
Exactly.
What?
Yeah.
That's basically like what
Yeah.
we're doing at this stage.
Yeah.
You'd be like, okay, well, I'm gonna leave it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna assume
Yeah.
they don't wanna talk to me. I'm gonna
Yeah.
maybe just shelve that friendship.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Well, it is. But it is. I genuinely think it's some agencies are petrified. Obviously, income is everything. I get it, but it's like some agencies feel like their clients have a hold over them,
Yeah.
and that's just not conducive to sustainable relationships for
No.
both sides.
No. It's like they forget what they're bringing to the table.
Yeah. And like, know your worth and know your value, and therefore if you're getting absolutely nowhere,
Yeah.
or a tone of voice changes and thing, you've got every right to either ask and get the answers, or if you're not getting the answers because you're met with silence, to stop.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's okay to like cut off a client and be like, do
Yeah.
you know what? This isn't how we work. And this isn't, well, I think the ideal line you've got there is, this isn't how we get the best out of our team
Yeah.
and how we produce our best work.
you're not getting the best of us.
It's not for us. And we only want to do the best we can do. We know how that works, and we know a really big part of that is communication.
Yeah.
If we're not going to get that,
Yeah.
we know what we put out,
Yeah.
you're not necessarily going to be 100% happy with.
Yeah. It's so true. I think related to this as well, like this notion of positively challenging.
Yeah.
Like, agencies if we're going to be accountable and charge our clients for the, you know, what we want, what the outcomes that we're striving to deliver for them, we absolutely hold the right to also positively challenge.
Yeah, 100%.
And I've seen it in conversations, heard it in conversations, and seen it where we'll be speaking to a brand who is pulling away from an agency, or I've had let's say a bad experience or whatever, an experience with an agency, and one of the things that they pick up on is not being proactive enough.
Yep.
And with that, they won't actually like tell us when something is not a good idea or offer their own.
Yep.
They just wait to be instructed and then just take those instructions and serve them.
They want us to do that, okay.
Yeah, that's why I
you know, there's got to be pushback. Like, believe in your team and remember that you're the experts. Like, yes, sometimes clients are very stubborn and they really want you to do a certain thing, and sometimes I would say there is a little bit of learning to be done where you do it their way and show them that you know it tanks
walk
or
the walk.
Sometimes you've got to do a little bit of that because they're, you know, like we said, everybody working with is a people.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a little bit of an ego. It's, you know, sometimes very hard to let that go and accept that somebody's better.
Yeah.
And sometimes you've got to prove it. But, you know, the level of communication that you give, you should also be aware of it and be aware of how that sits with the client. Like, we send out client surveys now around about, depends, different for different clients, but sort of either every quarter, 6 months, or annually.
Yeah.
And again, that's based purely on the client. Like, because we understand what our clients need, we understand, you know, how often is right to contact them with stuff like that.
Or how often is too often.
Yeah. And one of the questions we ask in there is, I can't remember the exact wording, but it's something along the lines of, are you happy with how often you receive communications from your team at Flaunt?
Right.
And I don't think we've had a single one back yet that isn't like at the very top end, like extremely happy. Yeah.
But that just shows how important it is for both sides as well.
Yeah.
And that's where it makes me think about these quiet moments where they're coming from.
But what's interesting there is those clients where they're saying extremely happy, some of them we might talk to, I don't know, like 3 times a day. Some of them might we talk to once a week.
Yeah.
But they're happy with what's being delivered to them because we've taken the time to understand what works best for the project, how much we need from them, where we slot into their day, where we slot into their business, and what's actually going to get the most out of that relationship.
Yeah. Like that is, again, a perfect example of bringing it back round to the thing that I've already touched on, like those examples of those conversations that we'd have with prospects where they say, how do you work? And when we say, what do you mean by that? And they basically mean the structure and how regular we might hear from you and how. We're met with different things at that point. So we'll say, it's not one size fits all. How would it work best for you? And then at that point, we're either met with some people who are really structured, and that's a good thing because you get an immediate understanding, and they might say, like we do, we have a internal catch up every week on a Monday, so it'd be really good to hear from you, Flaunt Digital, on a Friday, so we can feed that information into our Monday meeting. Some are like that, and others are going, well, we don't really know, like what would be best, and then we get to sort of prescribe the solution. And again, as everything is, whatever is agreed to begin with doesn't have to stick.
No, 100%. It's it's very movable.
It should move, because you might then suddenly have a new product launch that is taking up everyone, both agency and client side, everyone's focus for like 3 months. And it might then run for another 3 months. So through that 6 month period, you might be speaking doubly as much.
Yeah,
and that's
constant.
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. It is about agreeing these things as upfront and forecasting them as upfront as you can, i.e. in advance.
Yeah.
But this rigid, as I almost don't like, and I've said it before, I almost don't like the fact that the word services starts with serve, because we're not serving our client. Do you know what I mean? Like that, I don't like that notion at all.
No, I get that.
We're not there to serve. It's
there to help, and
that's like a them and us.
Yeah.
In my mind, a them and us feeling. And I know that we don't. I try not to say these are the services that we offer, because firstly, we've just spoken about our Orbit proposition, and it's not really service driven anymore. There's disciplines and specialities in there, but it's driven completely the other way, and it's driven by the user for our clients. So serve and services, I think there's almost like a accidental, there's an accidental thing there that I don't like. And I think that them and us thing is a problem sometimes. So I think a quiet moment or a quiet period might sometimes be attributed back to a them and us.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You're not on the same page.
You know, when there's the sort of rigidity with how comms are structured. So you might get an agency that says we meet up once a week.
These agencies exist because we've had this feedback.
And you get X hours of communication.
This many meetings.
Mad.
You have to pay for more.
Imagine literally saying, like, you get as many emails as we can fit into 1 hour. It's all to do with cost, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all to do with they've built that into, they've got a terrible cost model that doesn't take into account how people actually work.
Yeah. Completely.
It's all down to literally money.
Yeah, and that's where we have the best conversations with those potential clients, where we really fixate on the outcomes that we're trying to deliver. And that's where you start thinking of, as much, I know you're not one team, but do you know what I mean? Like, as integrated as you can be, which is absolutely, in my opinion, poles apart from that standoffish them and us, like, transactional, we are here to serve you. Like
that's how it should be. You should feel like you when you're working with that client, you should feel like you're part of the team.
Yeah.
Like, as a good example, we're doing some stuff with one of our clients, like some social media content filming. And I was talking to them the other day about coming over. We're going to sort of do like a day a month or something.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, we could put you a desk in the office. And you were like, I'm actually just part of your team for a day. And that's 100% how it should feel.
Yeah.
It shouldn't feel like you're some sort of contractor going over for a meeting or whatever else.
You certainly shouldn't feel like a stranger.
No.
And that's a really good barometer, I think, for I know people will define their own version of a stranger differently, but that is quite a testing question to sort of ask of yourself. Do you think your client contact would think of you more as a stranger, or someone who would potentially naturally offer you a desk?
Yeah, like if you went out and not that you went out for a drink with them, but you bumped into them at a bar, would you kind of like look at them like, I'm not going to go over, or would you be like, hey,
like, even if they're not your personality, or
not somebody
a match for your friend's character,
and
or
not
something.
just doing it just to be polite, because like, I better go say hi because it's a client.
Yeah, like that just, to me, it sends the wrong signals. And I think then we're talking about these like quiet periods where you're struggling. This is, as an agency, you're struggling. Now, I should interject there. We're obviously talking about clients being quiet on agencies. My God, if your agency is quiet on you as a client and you're paying,
fucking hell.
Yeah. Like,
if you're having to chase your agency, a whole different topic this, but something is drastically fucking wrong.
Speak to Form Digital.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had it. We've had, when we try and understand and unpick the challenges as to why X brand is in front of us, potentially exploring working with us, what's going wrong, or what have you found difficult. The amount of times that they say, our agency's reactive, they're not proactive, they're hard to get hold of, we hear from them so infrequently, all those things, it's mind-blowing.
And the thing is, the thing that bugs me the most about infrequent contact is like how easy it is now.
So
do you know
easy.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we have like everything's built into our computers, everything's built into our phones. Obviously, I'm not saying you have to take everything home with you on your phone, but there's just so much there in front of you that makes that job 10 times easier.
Yeah.
You can schedule stuff, you can get ChatGPT to help you write your emails. Like,
there's no excuse to not exhaust everything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go as far as to say there's no excuse to not get a reply, because that's relying on someone else.
No.
Because a reply comes from someone else. But you can control the controllables, which is exhaust as many.
Everything that's there. Yeah.
So
don't forget to pick up a phone.
Well, exactly, yeah. I mean, that's a whole different ball game, but it for me, it just comes down to communication and what I said right at the beginning as well. Like, there's a reason, even if the reason is we're really busy. There's a reason why there's silence.
Yeah, there is.
And obviously, it's an obvious thing to say. Task yourself with finding out, getting to the bottom of it, because it could be problematic.
Yeah.
And problematic could be anything, but
like 90% of the time, silence isn't going to be good.
No. We have that in our sales process. If we're pitched and we haven't heard anything and that time's dragging on, we start to go, it's basically a proportionate line. Time goes on with silence, likelihood of success.
There's a 10% where they're just busy.
Yeah. I remember one of our luxury ecom clients that we still got hold of, they took forever. I'm laughing in case anyone's listening and they know who they are. They took forever to give us the decision, and basically all of us had written it off. Yeah. And when it came in, I even remember like jumping up at my desk, and everyone was like, "What?"
It's like a little surprise, isn't it? Like,
And they just said it. Well, firstly, they said it was a bit more of a complex decision from their side in terms of what else they needed to scrutinise. I think they added more like criteria in, but secondly, they were just like, and also we've just been really busy, so I'm sorry that it's taken us this long to give you a decision, but the decision is we want to work with you. So obviously things like that work out great, and
it's nice to always have that little bit of hope that that's what it
But honestly,
that's what's at the other end of
the
it.
pitch team had written off. It took that.
Yeah.
It got to that stage, which silence sometimes does.
And we're not really those people. We're usually pretty optimistic.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm not. Soz.
Done a quick fire.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you some questions. And
is it a this or that type?
It's not really this or that.
All right.
They're more like short questions. But you kind of give me like a quick response of whether like you think it's a red flag. Obviously, they're pretty much all going to be, a big red flag.
Yeah.
But maybe what we do to try and fix the situation. Or
Bob the
do we
Builder
just get rid of them
here.
at that point? Is that just it? Right, down tools.
Right.
Fix or down tools, I guess. Yeah. Okay, missed 3 meetings in a row.
Are these like the client, as an agency, if the client's missed 3 meetings in a row? I'm going to do a Lee Fuller here and say a combination of both. I'd down tools, I'd do no more work.
But try and get to the bottom of it.
Until it's fixed, and how try to get to the bottom of it to fix it. And how I would suggest doing that is, whilst everyone's down tools, it's on lead contact or whatever's shoulders to try a small amount of times, 1-to-1 with one person. Yeah. And then just call it quits after, I don't know, another 3 goes.
Okay, no response. Let's start that again. No response to monthly reports after 2 months.
Add down tools there.
Yeah, knowing the importance of monthly reports and the learnings that come off the back of it.
I'm so glad you said that. I was thinking about like the...
I was going to say 4 months, and I was like, no, that's a long time.
No, you should not get to 4 months.
No.
2 months, I think, is fair. Yeah, I like a quarter, so like 3 months feels like a absolute do not pass go.
Because that report informs strategy. And
also proves worth and expertise and things like that. And a lot, in our world, a lot goes into our monthly reports. They're not a copy and paste job, which, funny, I've seen in previous agencies. Copy and paste and get the client name wrong and the numbers wrong, and
me too.
B2B and e-com mixed up and things like that. What do you think?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I think, your monthly report is the gold there. And even just a client that just responds like, thanks, or looks good. You need to know they've had sight of it. You need to know that they understand what's gone on. Yeah. Before you can proceed with any of the next bits.
What would be an absolute double whammy is reports and then the calls where you talk through the reports and then like sort of plan the so what answers. If they missed those, as well as the no response to the reports, you just...
After 1 month, you'd be like, look, this is super important.
Yeah, you have to talk about the numbers in the report and then the answers of so what, like what we're going to do next. Yeah. And that has to be a conversation.
So campaign signed off to say we were developing the campaign, but then it's on them to launch it. So campaign signed off, but no one launches it. So you never see the campaign go live. I've seen this so many times.
Yeah, I've seen it in campaign version and also websites.
Yeah, I've seen it so many times. Like you do all the work, it's spot on, smashed it out of the park, handed it over, and it never sees the light of day again.
There's almost something in that I want to say, like, don't get yourself into a position where you hand it over and rely on others. But I know that's easier said than done. I don't know with that one.
It's tricky because there's always some sort of circumstance that...
You want to know why.
Yeah.
You've already done the work. I don't know if that's it. I guess you would by proxy, by default, you'd down tools because you've done the work on that campaign. Yeah. You've handed it over. So
you can't just keep being like, put it live, put it live, put it live.
Yeah, I guess that might be one way you walk away.
Yeah.
It shouldn't, but a sort of scale does matter. Scale of the campaign and things.
How do you feel about this sentence then? I trust you guys. Just do your thing.
No, I don't like that.
No, I don't like that either.
At all. That's
Trust, amazing. Yeah, they
great.
should trust us, and they should trust that an agency are your experts.
No.
But there should never be just you guys go off and do it. It should be collaborative.
No. There's so many questions that come off the back of that worry me. That's a massive red flag. So if that was almost like the brief, I won't touch it.
I agree. Last one. Pick up a phone or email them for nudging.
Fun.
I think I'd go email first, like a little, just checking you've seen my email, and then if I got nothing to that phone.
Yeah, I've said phone there, whereas my volume is the other way around in terms of actual real life. But I'm just thinking of what we were talking about earlier about what you get from a phone call.
And the amount
just
of time,
the extra bits.
Because the thing is, you send that little nudge email, I guess, you send that 2-3 days later, then you give it a couple of days, Whereas, actually, if you'd phoned, you've missed 3 days there, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've sped it up.
You might not have to wait another few days. If anyone, however, would like to get in touch with me and have a conversation about our agency specialisms, not services, you can pick up the phone or email me. Or you can get me on Microsoft Teams, Slack,
or
LinkedIn.
Doors always open.
Doors always open. You might find me in a pub. Speak to me in the pub. All channels are open, apart from Instagram.
Oh, yeah, he's not on social media.
Although Flaunt have Instagram, so get in touch.